I got into the wrestling business through one way. First, as a fan. And everybody starts out that way. If they don't tell you that, well, I don't know. I can't speak for everybody, so I'll say this. With me, I was a very abused child. My father was alcoholic. He beat the hell out of me. Simple way to put it. So, I thought that was normal. My outlet was professional wrestling. I grew up in Baltimore on the East Coast, and I was lucky enough to be one of the people that saw the Worldwide Wrestling Federation. For any of you youngsters, that's what is now WWE. So there was no cable, there was no internet. Wrestling was what you would call pure. Yeah, everybody told us all the bullshit, this, it's that. It's like, hey mom, tonight, when you watch Marcus Welby, I'm not going to sit there for an hour and say he's not a doctor. Just let me enjoy it, okay? We were able to believe. We suspended the other nonsense, and we were involved with live action superheroes that you could talk to. At those times, we would be around ringside when they came to get into the ring. Sometimes they step over us. Shake hands to the poor heels, oh boy, the things we would do to them, and yeah, I was one of them. Sorry, Greg Valentine. When he broke Chief's leg, oh man, did we give him murder. But, it was because they were like our family. So I went to the police academy in 1979. I did that for 27 years, but in the middle of it, there was an independent show, and I saw it was what would become a staple in my life, one of the cardboard advertisements, and I saw Nicolai Volkoff, who's going to be there. Now, I'm a wrestling tape collector. Now they're all DVD, but at that time it was tapes. Only the 70s, Worldwide Wrestling Federation. So I thought, maybe I'll go see this show. Nicolai's there. Maybe I get a line on some material I don't have. So I go there because I had the uniform on. I'm able to get back there. And it was so ironic, because I was a sergeant at the time. He comes walking in, he looks over, hello, Sarge! It's like, we didn't know each other, never met before. So then the ritual of before the matches, where you set up your gimmicks to sell at the table, he comes out, so I go sit down and talk with him. He said, no, I don't have any kind of wrestling. I wish I had. I said, oh, Nicolai, I must have 100 matches. Oh, you make for me? I said, yes. Now, Vince and all the lawyers, I didn't sell anything, I didn't do anything bad, I just did that for Nicolai. So I traded with him, he was so happy, and we become friends. From that, I start bugging him. I said, Nicolai, I want to be in the business. He said, no, everybody gets hurt, you have a good job with police, you don't want to do it. At that time, I had like 15 years on, and I was ready to go to detective, so I was done with that crazy schedule, and then it was more regimented. Monday through Friday, weekends off, 9 to 5. So then I was free to go. So he finally, one day, we were working what was called a Czech-Slovak festival. It was for Czechoslovakian people and Slovak. The security, he and I were like teenagers, okay? But they needed that for insurance. We would dance with the old ladies and just bullshit with people, have a nice time. So we put the brains to work that day, and he said, okay, you're going to manage me. I said, I don't want to be bullshit manager, but okay, that's a start. So then we come up with the name, and I always liked Stan Mikita from the Chicago Blackhawks. Boy, does that go back. The 70s was the greatest sports era for everything. Baseball, football, boxing, roller derby, even all that stuff. So then Breznikov, Nicolai at one point, believe it or not, was a Nikita Breznikov. You can look that up. So we did that. So here I go. Boom. I hit the road with Nicolai. I thought I knew everything. Man, I didn't know first base. I had no clue. But all those heroes I'm talking about, when I walked into their door of their home, their business, they took me under their wing. They didn't say, oh, hey, we're bigger than you, you nobody, get away from me, go learn your own. They all helped. Everybody, and I learned from legends. Nicolai was the show, and I'm there as the dressing. I actually got hit by Bruno Sammartino. he was refereeing a match. We were in New Jersey. It was a minor league baseball stadium. He was retired at the time. And Dominic DeNucci and Nicolai were the Legends match, so I was, of course, the manager. Bruno's the referee. And it was like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. This is unbelievable. So Bruno gave me a shot at the end of the mat, actually make people happy. And look, it was open hand, okay? Bruno did not try to kill me. He was not a young man at the time, but I felt it for 2 weeks, and it was like, I can't imagine if this guy clocks you, what you would go through. He was a gorilla. Nicolai as well. Well, you know, one time we were at a different show in Steubenville, Ohio, the old St. John's Arena. And Nicolai idolized Bruno. He really did. So we were talking one time about Bruno's strength and everything. So Bruno and I were off to the side talking. He said, you know, believe it or not, I think Nicolai's stronger than I ever was. I said, wow, Bruno, that says like, he said, yeah, don't say anything to him, but yeah. Because, you know, I'm his idol and all that. It's like, yeah, but one time we had a flat tire. We're going to a show for AFA in Allentown. So at the time I owned a van. So we're driving, boosh, it's a complete blowout. Son of a bitch is flat in 10 seconds. So we get out, and Nicolai says, we in a hurry, look out the way. Like Herman Munster, he takes his hands, starts taking the nuts off. I'm like, oh my God. I said, Nicolai, let me use the jack at least. Okay, but hurry up, big hurry, let's go. So his strength is no bullshit. He really, when you see him crush the apples, he would do it at home. Nobody gimmicked the apple. I would sit there and I'd say, how the hell you do this? You know, he's like, give it to me. And whoosh, I'm like, jeez. Because at one time, I always had bad neck. I go to his house. He said, I have TENS unit. I said, oh good, that'd be beautiful. He brings out this damn contraption, looked like a CB radio, and looked like ping pong paddles. I said, what the hell are you going to do with that? That's my TENS unit. I said, oh my God, all right, put it on me. Next thing I know, I said, Nicolai, you got to turn this shit off. He said, oh, come on, what's wrong with you? You sissy? I said, yeah, I think I'm going to die. Turn the thing off. My neck is better, okay? I'm like, jeez. I love the guy without a doubt. We traveled, my God, 20-some years together. When I first started managing with Nicolai, you know, that was fine. I was good size with police department. I was right around the 230-pound mark. But I still wanted to get into the ring. So Nicolai one day said, you know what? Son of a bitch, you're bigger than some of these guys. What the heck we might as well do? You'd be tag team with me. I said, yeah. You know, we went into more intense training, make sure we had routine down. And I loved it. We worked some legends. We worked some guys on the indie circuit. Mostly on the indie circuit, which is good. I'm not knocking that because let me tell you, that's the heart and soul. Don't let anybody say, oh, well, he or she just worked the indies. Bullshit. Hey, look, it's all wrestling. If somebody gets bigger payday, more exposure, hey, that's beautiful. But the other people too, theirs counts just as much, okay? So, and I'm not just saying that because that's where the majority of my work was. But for me, I guess my biggest claim to fame being on Heroes of Wrestling, seeing that people knock that pay-per-view back in October 10th, 1999. It's like, how in the hell can you knock? That's like going to Yankee Stadium and booing in an old-timers game. What kind of piece of shit are you? It's like, look, these guys, nobody said, hey, you're going to get like Sheik and Nicolai in their prime, or George Steele and all the Jake the Snake, everybody that was their Bundy. It's like, come on, man. They were trying to like give you another piece on the menu, something else to order. It's like to keep that going. And then people ripped it apart. It's like, come on. They said, oh, it was the worst pay-per-view ever. Well, you know what? That's not so bad neither. We'll take that tag, you know? But it's like, no, it wasn't. Because I've seen some things out there. It's like, I guess I don't like to badmouth anybody, but come on now. You got to put it into perspective for what they were at that time and their age, which now, oh man, I guess you could look at that and it's like an obituary. It's a shame how many people have been lost over the years. And that's another thing. The ones that we've lost over the years, and whatever the reason being, it's like, wow, I think there have been movies. In fact, I was part of one called Legends Never Die. And the list has probably doubled since that came out in 2002. It's like, wow. And you know why? Because everybody hurts. You know, people, these bodies, they hurt. Aspirin, just, maybe it skims the surface sometimes, but it's not enough. So for me, that was a great claim to fame, being on the big pay-per-view against the Bushwhackers, and what characters they are. And see, those guys, they were cartoonish in WWE, but there wasn't anybody more brutal than the Bushwhackers. You take a look at some of their matches, when Jonathan Boyd was with them too, woo, baby, they had the barbed wire matches. They were some tough son of a guns, all right? That was nasty stuff. Hey, and I got to meet Joyce Grable at the Cauliflower Alley reunion. And hey, look, Joyce and Vicky Williams, when they were crowned tag team champions in the Garden on October 15th of 73. Yeah, I don't know why they never developed that any further. But that would have been a neat thing, because you would have had Bobo as U.S. champion, then women's division tag, men's tag, and then Bruno. I mean, bang. Sometimes people say you overload the card with title matches. So what? Who cares? Every month was WrestleMania in Madison Square Garden. I mean, where you really break it down, it was WrestleMania every month. With me, I was able to take that passion then. And my job with Nicolai, I was like Robin. He's Batman, I'm Robin. He's the show, I'm there to support him. Even tag team matches. Look, what am I going to do? Overshadow Nicolai Volkoff? I'm not goofy. I mean, come on. Well, a little bit, but I'm not stupid to know, hey, I'm going to outdo that guy. But you know what? He would always make it so that I would go over. I would put the team over, and it was like, he was good that way. And he would say, don't take no big bumps. You don't need that shit. Because one time we had a guy, I sold 20 tickets and I got people in the audience, so the promoter says I can do something or another to you. And I said, huh? Why are you going to do that? Nicolai said, no. You hit him, he'll roll out of the ring, that's enough. People will be happy. You don't have to do all that goofy shit. And it's like, thank you, Nicolai, because, man, oh man. You see, one time, Kid USA, we were doing that Outlaws of Wrestling show. And there was a guy there, never been in the ring. Not 1 foot in the ring. But he was part of the promotion. So he was going to be in a match against Kid USA. Now, I love Armand Cesari. We used to have a lot of good matches with Nicolai, because naturally USA Russia angle. So I'm listening, and I'm like, oh, wow, this guy's wrestling Armand, huh? So I said, okay. So they're talking, they're going to do this, and they're going to do that. I'm thinking, man. So I said, hey, Armand, come here, let me talk to you a minute. I said, this guy, you know how much experience he's got? He's like, no. I said, this is his first match. He's like, what? I said, yeah, he's going to power bomb you and octopus you and all this other. He's like, oh no. And he went over, he says, wait a minute. It's like, yeah. He said, he ain't breaking my neck. It's like, and I think he would have killed you, man, because, look, you got to do this right. You don't just walk in there and say, boom, here we go, we're off to the races, It's like unprotected sex, not a good idea. You better make sure you know which end is up before you start playing around. So I think I saved him that night. And then he went on to become Mickey Rourke's stuntman and a wrestler. So that was great. So yeah, I just enjoyed the traveling over the years, even with Nicolai. And sometimes it was grinding. But the drives were long, but it was part of wrestling. If you don't want to do it, then stay home. You can sit home, watch the paint dry. There you go. You don't have to be on the road. You don't have to be in the hotels. You don't have to be away from the family. That's what we do. We love it. All the times in the car, airplanes, wake up 3 o'clock in the morning to go back home or to go place. Never one time. Never had an argument. Never had a fight. We were like two kids that got loose from our parents. Just having a ball. Because he just loved, and we were as corny with the Three Stooges stuff. Tell jokes, bullshit. Like, we go pull up to the toll booth and say, hey, I hear this job takes a toll on you, and sometimes you get the eye roll, other times you somebody smile or giggle, but you got to pass the time. You're talking long rides. And yeah, we were cheap. We would go to New York and come back home the same day. It's like, save the money, even take the money for a hotel, and we're going to go home. So through that, I became like brothers with Nicolai. In fact, he performed a ceremony for my son last year, April 14th. He became a minister because I had another friend in mine who passed away, who married my wife and I. And my son said, Dad, I like this guy. He's a, what was it, Episcopal or Protestant minister, one of the denominations. I'm Catholic, Baptist, all that stuff. It's all good. You believe in divinity, that's nice. So he said, can you get Father Mike? Father Mike had passed away. Dear friend of mine, but he had cancer and didn't want to say anything. So, okay, he's gone. So I said, look, I know another guy, friends of Nicolai. You call him. Maybe he could do it for you. Next thing I know, my son calls me. He said, Dad, Nicolai's going to marry us. I said, how the hell's Nicolai going to marry you? He said, he's got his stuff. I'm like, okay, don't blame me if something goes wrong, because I don't know what the hell happened in here, but this sounds great. So Nicolai said, yeah, I got it. Don't worry about it. I got all the gimmicks. It's all fixed. I'm full-fledged. I said, wow, Nicolai, that'd be a great gimmick for you. Build like half of a ring, have people come to your place. You make good money like Uncle Ivan used to do. So he did that ceremony. We spent a beautiful week together. You know, the rehearsals and all that. We had a great time. Then that July, he started to have trouble. And July 29, I get the call, and he's gone. I'm like, hey, there's no way. You hear it 100 times in your life that no, it can't be. And I'm feeling it. It's like, no, it can't be. It's just not possible. I mean, Nicolai's like Superman. No way. And, you know, I didn't go to his funeral because we talked about it 1,000 times at least. He said, when I go, I want to wake up dead. And do not come see me dead. You have fun with me now. What the heck you come look my dead body for? This big bullshit money gimmick. I said, Nicolai, you're right. If I go before you, the same. Enjoy each other now. What the heck are we going to look at corpses for? I used to be policeman. I see enough dead bodies. And then some goof comes, oh, he looks good. He's dead, asshole. What are you talking about? It looks good. And then they come say bullshit stuff. It's like, where were you all those times? That's like, I got through Nicolai, become friends with my idol, Chief J. Strongbow. People say a lot of things about Chief, but I must say this. If you was a good guy, and Chief was straight shooter, no bullshit, you got along with him, no problem. Because there's enough guys in the business that didn't do anything untoward that he got along fine with. Others, they got their opinion, that's their business. And I ain't gonna fight with nobody. I'm here to, I don't know how much time I have left, so I'm gonna be peaceful on this planet, that's it. No of my fighting and bullshit days are over, except my wife. So, I keep special place for her. So, Chief and I become really good friends through Nicolai. And Chief would always say, yeah, they say I was gonna call you. I said, yeah, if you was gonna call me, you would have called me. You don't care. And it's like, that's right. People, that's why I say, please, if somebody means something to you, you could be on the shitter with the telephone today. You ain't connected to the wall. Call your mother, call your father, call your friends when they're gone. They are gone, man. Take the time. We're not here that long. It's unbelievable. I'm 60. I don't believe I've been here that long. But I have, and it's like, geez, I don't care about that. Don't bother me. I just don't believe it. So with all of that connection and all of my, what I like to say, eat, sleep, and shit wrestling, I developed this book called When It Was Real. And the reason I'm able to say that was what I'm explaining to you. We looked at it that way. All this is me as a kid when I grew up, starting in 1970, and as each year goes on, all the way to 79, it gets more and more elaborate because I got more and more involved. We still didn't really have internet, obviously, in 79. We had a little bit of the sheets, but not that much. Best method of communication, you got a telephone call from somebody that was in that area. Now, funny thing was, it was July 22nd, 1978 in Baltimore. I'm down at the ring before the match started. We're all milling about ringside because it was an event. It was Christmas every month. So everybody get there early, excited. You got done watching the show at 5. It was 4 to 5 in Baltimore. Then you head off to the Civic Center and catch the bus, go there, and boom. So we're there at the show, and I'm looking, and it's like the stock market. All these people are milling around this guy. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And then I see people walking by, they got these, I guess, I forget what the size is, the regular size photo that you get, and they're great shots from Madison Square Garden. I'm like, oh my God, where do you get that guy over there? So I'm making my way over, and I see he opens this binder. I'm like, oh my God, look at these shots. So he sees me, motions me over, he says, what do you want? I said, you got any of Chief? He says, yeah. He flips open, there it is, Chief with the sleeper on Batera. I'm like, blood running down his nose, May 16, 1977. I said, give me that one. Give me this one. Give me that one. It was like, man, I thought I hit the jackpot. That was just beautiful. But, you know, that was just one of many. Now, like April 30, 1977, we'll never forget it. It was the Black Cloud of Baltimore. Bruno Sammartino is defeated by superstar Billy Graham at the Civic Center. And it's like, oh, we can't believe it. Yeah, he pinned him with the foot on the ropes and all of that. And it's like, like Bruno can't lose the belt here. And then we live with that. But for a while, we really thought that, well, they're going to overturn the decision. Here's the pictures, he cheated. But Baltimore has stipulations, see. Once a referee makes a decision, it's done. There can be no change. So you connect the dots on that. Besides, you read about it in here. So from that point on, and to me, that was the greatest time throughout that 70s was when Superstar was champion because, you know, heel champions up to that point, you know, Ivan Koloff carried it 3 weeks. Stan Stasiak, 10 days. Graham, now you get to see Chief go for a title match. Tony Garea, Larry Zbyszko, Monsoon, and then they bring in Dusty Rhodes, Mil Mascaras. It's like, oh, wow, this is great. And Bruno's still there. And I think it was almost better with Bruno chasing for the belt that he had stolen from him than him having it. So that was just marketing genius. And then you had Tanaka and Fuji back. So and then the Chiefs, Maivia and Strongbow were together. I mean, it was great. Chief was having the feud with Batera because Batera broke White Wolf's neck, and it was like, man, every time you turn around, there's just fantastic stuff. Then comes Bob Backlund. You know, he was a great, still is. I saw a video, he did a headstand, whatever his age is now. This guy is tremendous shape. But people say this nonsense, well, he couldn't draw, they had to pad the card. It's like, you know what? Go take a look. Go to YouTube. Go to WWE channel. Look at the matches of Backlund. You tell me if that crowd doesn't come out of the chair after he beats whoever. Patera, any of those kind of everybody. It doesn't have nothing to do with the undercard. It's got to do with him. Yeah, he grew because he was that humble kid, that All-American boy that was the NCAA champion 2 times. And it's like, yeah. And I'm saying we as fans, I have nothing to do with the business at that time, but we love Backlund. First time we saw him, January 7th of 78. They brought him into Baltimore finally, after seeing him on TV for about 4 months. He's wrestling Patera, who was a gorilla. You know, it was legitimate. Patera did 500-pound military press. Unheard of. Even you think about it today, how can a man do that? So it's like, man, and at that time, Patera was 297. So he's like, he's massive. So here comes Backlund at 240. He, on television, looked like a skinny kid. But when you saw him in person, you could see the definition. It's like, yeesh, boy, he's got power. And he handled Patera. He beat him with the atomic knee drop. And Patera went over the top rope, got counted out. And it's like, wow, Backlund beat Patera? Shit, that's unbelievable. So then the next month, they scheduled him for Superstar. So, of course, Baltimore got the match February 11th. It wasn't going to hit the Garden until the 20th. We saw kind of a prelude to it. It was a good lockup, good match. Atomic knee drop finish again. Superstar just said, boom, I'm done, and he walks off. You know, we're rioting. It's like, hey, come on, we want to finish the match. We want him to win the belt. Then he wins it in the Garden on February 20th. But Backlund, that run, you know, he started out, to me, my opinion, I don't have any information, especially back then, but he was beating people that Bruno beat, okay, so it established him. And then he went on to Peter Maivia with that heel turn, which in my opinion was more about Chief J Strongbow that he turned on than the Backlund gimmick. Yeah, that was good, but by the time we got the match in Baltimore, Maivia against Backlund, it was March 10th, and the turn actually occurred October 10th taping, which was probably shown, I know when it was shown. It would have been October 21st, because that Monday night on the 23rd in the Garden, Strongbow and Maivia were going to do the Lumberjacks, and then they had words, and Maivia turned on the Chief, so boom, they set it up. So by the time we got it March 10th, it was like, man, it was good, but man, so much time had passed, you know? It's like, geez, you start drinking 8 o'clock at night, it's already 1 in the morning, you don't know what's going on, so, okay. But it was still good to see. It was always good to see. So Backlund, I think, now see, like with this picture, this was the 1 hour draw in Madison Square Garden, February 19th, 1979. How do I know that? Because Valentine's got these red and black trunks. Go look on the WWE network. They put the match up recently. Oh, I couldn't believe it. I'd never seen it before. 1 full hour. There is commentary. Vince did the commentary. But that was the President's Day snowstorm. And that's another reason I remember it. And I mean, even Bruno couldn't make it to the show that night. I mean, we had 23 inches in Baltimore, New York. It was unbelievable. That's not why they went an hour. Greg Valentine and Backlund in his book both said they decided that they were going to do an hour. Because Valentine, his words on Heartbeat Radio, was on that 6 months ago or so, and he was talking. He said, here I come up from the Carolinas. I'm thinking, oh good, no more Broadways. Here I am, WWWF then, and they want me to go an hour with Backlund. But they did it, and they did it perfectly, you know, and if nobody sit there hollering, boy, it's like, hey, that's wrestling. So it's like, that's what you come to see. Not every match looks the same, and I'm not knocking anybody, because what they do today, everybody risks a lot to step inside that ring. Even the referee. It doesn't take much to catch an elbow, or to get knocked down, or get caught between them. Everybody's risking life and limb inside that ring, so I respect you for that. And for the ones that got hurt, hey, my heart goes out to you. You know, it's tough. You only get one body, and you're taking it to the grave, and the damn thing is unforgiving. You maybe did it in your 20s, but it knocks on your door probably around 40 or so, and reminds you the bullshit you did years growing up. So, what I see today, I respect. It's not my cup of tea, but, you know, I participated in shows, indie shows, because I love it. I will still be a part of it. And I see the girls as well as the guys, they're giving their heart and soul. You got to respect that. And the girls today, I'm an old man now, but when I was young, I would fight them. My God, they're unbelievable. I said, man, you better pace yourself a little bit. You ain't going to make it in this business till your 30s or 40s. This is brutal, but it's entertaining. It's very good. So everybody that I see, you know, they come into this, the referees, they have a passion for wrestling. My time as a kid, when this book is based on the 70s, you were basically looked upon as some kind of weirdo or like a piece of garbage. You like that wrestling, the blood, and you're like, people get hit with chairs? Yeah, I do. In fact, I love it. It's just the way it is. But you know, Gorilla Monsoon said it best. People are basically sadistic. If you ever notice, when there's a traffic wreck on the highway, what are they doing? They all gotta look. They all gotta see. And my mother, God rest her soul, she used to hate to hear anything bad happen to little kids. But yet she would watch all that bullshit on the news and then come complain of how it made her upset. I said, Mom, then what the hell are you watching for? Turn the channel off, you know? But people are just drawn to that. Now, of course, that's the other thing about the 70s, when people were telling us, oh, it's this, it's that. It's like, you know, the blood was all legitimate. Now, remember Lou Albano against Bruno. And this goes back to the Baltimore Civic Center. Only like my third time that I was there. And you want an automatic sellout. Lou Albano against any of the good faces, the top names, like Bruno, Chief. Well, Bruno got him that night. And we we packed the place because it was just like, oh, you don't need nobody else. You just bring them in. You can play music until they're ready. It would be packed to the rafters. So, you know, here comes Albano, and Bruno's just sitting there. He's geared up. He's waiting, and then they ring the bell, and Lou comes with his thing, and then boom, 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 boom. Next thing you know, there it is. It's all over the place. And I mean, I don't know how Albano used to do this. I got to know Lou over the years, and God love him, he was hysterical. But the blood, when it was done, it was the match before intermission. We followed it all the way to the dressing room. And I mean, I said, look, this is no bullshit. There's no way in hell, unless Lou Albano's got a hose attached someplace, this is real blood. And it was, because Lou loved to bleed for whatever reason. I mean, there's sometimes you see, if you watch carefully, I mean, well, Jimmy Snuka, when they had that big change and Lou sold him out and Ray Stevens did the pile driver, November 22nd in the Garden of '82, Snuka made his first match as a face against Albano. Lou dropped the blade, and then he goes in because he had that thing with pockets, and he's got a straight razor, and it's like, oh my God, look at him. But that guy loved what he did. He did the sacrifice. He did whatever needed to be done. And like he said, he took the splash from Snuka, and he said, man, I felt that for like a month. And it was like, no more of that. You got to do something else. But hey, everybody that does this business, you're going to get hurt. Maybe not as severe as others, like Droz. I remember Darren Drozdov. He was a great guy. I got to know him a little bit before the accident happened. He's paralyzed. He was a guy that played for the Super Bowl winning Denver Broncos. This happened in 1999. So I met him at an Outlaws of Wrestling show in Atlantic City. He was on the same card. And that's when they had Prince Albert. Him and Prince Albert were a hot item. And then a couple of weeks later, the accident happened. And, you know, boom. Well, Owen Hart. And poor guy, you know, died doing his job. So it's like, please don't say any of that, I call it the F word. Don't say that around people. Have some respect, okay? People are doing what they can and giving the best they can and all they can, because all we get is, like I say, one body, and boom, that's it. And once it's gone, oh, good luck. What are you going to be, in a wheelchair? And nobody wants that. So for me, with Nicolai, and the first thing I say in the acknowledgments, this would not be possible without this book, this I'm wearing, every time, every career move I made, it would not be possible without Nicolai. This led to acting. I've done some pretty decent acting things over the years. Actually had Academy Award that was on the list. No way we're going to win, but we were in a movie called Brush with Danger in 2016. We were top 300 movies, one of that year. So it was like, hey, we're in the running. I get this list from the Academy. I'm like, oh man, there I am with a big name. I know I ain't gonna win, but hey, it looks nice. I can't pay a gas electric bill with it or anything, but what the hell, it looks good, man. You know, I like that. But there's another one. You sacrifice yourself, but this led to that. And I'll tell you how that happened. We were doing documentaries, like you always do with wrestling. You know, it's good. People want to know what's happening, so you do the documentary. So one time somebody says, you know, that's an acting credit. I said, what the hell I care bullshit Hollywood for? It doesn't mean nothing to me. He said, well, think about it. So then somebody from Baltimore, local people, approached us, Nicolai and I, and they said, you want to be in this horror movie? I said, yeah, why not? We'll do it, you know. And it was called Terror in the Pharaoh's Tomb. And my character was Captain Sadomak. And I said, hey, I know that name. And the guy that was one of the producers, he said, how do you know that name? I said, Kurt Sadomak wrote The Wolfman. Oh my God, 1941, you know, The Wolfman. I'm a big Universal Monsters fan. So was he. So it was like, oh, we hit it off right from there. The neat thing about that movie, it never really, we appreciated it, but what they did, they got the rights for Lugosi, Chaney, and a few other ones. It was shot in black and white, so they could edit their footage in with us, and it was a nice piece. I enjoyed it. A lot of people enjoyed it. And at a couple of points, they thought they had some big money behind it, which sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's tough. It's an investment. Movies are investments. whether it be documentaries or whatever, somebody's digging in their pocket. And that's the thing. And that's why Hollywood is like it is, and that's why wrestling is like it is, because somebody's got their money, their ass involved in this project. It's not for fun. They're out there to make a damn buck, and it's not being greedy, but it's like, hey, this is what I choose to do, and I want to get paid for it. I still get bills, and so it's like, you got to pay your bills. So if you can make a living at it, that's great. If not, well, then you got to work a couple other jobs. That's why they say don't quit your day job till you make it. And even when you make it, don't spend it. Like I learned from the old timers, you can call us cheap or not, but it's not how much you make, it's how much you save. And that's the key in life too. And one of the things I say in this book, on the back, it's got a little thing about my police career. It says, in the daytime, I was a hero detective sergeant. At nighttime, I was a hated Soviet. I'm a grassroots guy that was lucky enough to touch the stars, but kept my feet on the ground, and I knew good is the enemy of great. And what that means is, people say, oh, that's good enough. Yeah, I did good, No, don't settle for that. I've been recreated, I don't know, 5 times in my life, at least, maybe 6. I'm a prostate cancer survivor, and I always put that point across to the men especially, get the blood test. That's what really helped me. By the time they do the other thing that we all dread, it's already enlarged. It's still good, they find it, but get the blood test done. And then, because see, like with me, it was cellular. It wasn't great what I went through, but I'm alive. So the guy saved my life. He was a good doctor, good friend. So, hey, look, I beat that crap, okay? You can do it too. Now I'm a publisher, or an author, okay? And I gotta say, Scott Teal, I salute him like I do Nicolai, because, hey, look, I handed Scott 500 pages. He's, oh boy, and he did a great job with it. He filled this thing with clippings. Do you know what clippings are? That was before the internet. The newspaper would put a little clipping in there to advertise the show, and besides, you'd hear it on television for what was upcoming. But to me, I love that. It's just each time we speak of something, Scott Teal's got the clipping to go with it. It's really great. Not each and every time, but the clippings that are there coincide with the story. So I am proud of it. It's my heart and soul that's poured out for the world to read. I don't tell anything about anybody. That's not about. I never wanted to know what went on behind the curtain. Now, I do tell about some of the angles that I learned over the years from Chief, which are funny, and Nicolai. But it's no tell-all. Who cares? Everybody does the tell-all. Everybody tells all. It's like everything's been told all so many damn times. I don't even want to hear another tell-all, please. So this is from here and here. It kept me alive. I'm just happy to be here. I'm grateful to do this and to work with people that were my heroes. Some I hated, but then like Luscious Johnny. I got to talk about my buddy who just passed away last year as well. He was hit by a truck. You see, Johnny had 2 homes. Lived in New York City, and then his mom, when she passed away, left him a place in Pittsburgh. So his wife didn't like to travel too much, so he would take the bus, go back and forth. So it was Easter weekend. And a couple of days, for the Catholics, it was Holy Thursday. I called, because we would talk at least once a week. I said, hey, John, what you doing? He said, well, I just sat down, made myself spaghetti, brother. I wish you could come over. I said, oh, my God, don't I wish I could come over and have spaghetti dinner with you, because I'm part Italian. He said, I'll call you over the weekend. I said, all right, go eat that spaghetti, man. Enjoy it while it's hot. He did call that Saturday. I was out, didn't get the call. So I said to the wife, I said, John's a big Catholic. I'm not going to bug him. Tomorrow's Easter Sunday. He's going to be at church, do his thing. I'll call him Monday. We call it Easter Monday in Catholics. So I got up that day, get ready to go. I call him, I get the message. I didn't know he was already gone. That night, a very good friend of his and mine, Scott Wilson. Scotty calls me and he says, tell me this isn't true. Tell me it didn't happen. I said, Scott, I don't know. I didn't hear anything, but I just got home from the other job. First place I went, WWE, because they triple check. They ain't going to tell you anybody's gone unless it's true. And it's like, oh my God, it is true. But you know what I say? The way it happened, Johnny was running to catch the bus to go home. Only he didn't know how far home he was going. He was going all the way home, man. And it's like, God bless you, brother, because he was a nice actor too. He was on Law and Order, a regular, basically on The Sopranos, only he didn't get speaking parts. Why the hell would they use a guy like that? See, the Hollywood bullshit is like, here's a guy, anybody knows Johnny Valiant. He turned the key and off he goes, man. He can run with the mouth, and he was good at it. He told me a story, one time Al Pacino, he was doing a scene, they were in a taxi cab. And Pacino tried to help him out. So he's feeding him lines, and the director's like, cut! No, he ain't supposed to speak. And Pacino's like, it's stupid for me to sit here and not talk to the guy. I'm not going to acknowledge him. This is ridiculous, And it's like, we don't care. Why? Because the guy paying another couple $100, cheap bastards, I mean, come on. But Johnny did get to speak in the movie, The Wrestler. So that was good. He had a nice little role in that. So, he did get his mark there. But hey, the Valiant Brothers, oh man, when they hit in 1974, it's like, wow. And then with Lou Albano, that was magic. It wasn't a good magic to us because we hated their guts. It was unbelievable because I used to say, meeting up with Johnny and Jimmy over here, I said, how the hell I could have hated you guys so much? And you're such great people, man. I love you guys, Jimmy Valiant, what a peaceful soul. I mean, I don't know, they say he's a Buddhist monk or something. All I know is, look, he's peaceful. That's all. If you could live like Jimmy Valiant, you ain't worried about anything, man. And he's straight as an arrow. He's just at peace with the world. That's the key. That's what they got in the Bible, everything else. You find your place in this planet, you got that puzzle piece that fits the square peg in the square hole, you good to go, man. That's the end of it, So, where are we, this whole big circle, and what I like about being at Cauliflower Alley, they call it the circle of friendship. The ring of friendship, circle of friendship. It's like, yeah. And that's why when people meet each other, they call brother, sister, because you know what? They care about each other. You don't get backstabbing like you do. People bitch and complain, you missed this spot, they have 10 shit fits. It's like, he who among us has never missed a spot is full of shit. Everybody did. It's you can't do it. It's gonna happen at some point, okay? Don't stab anybody over. Just move on. Nobody got hurt. That's beautiful. Fans don't know what the hell happened. They're having a good time. So just relax. Everybody do your thing out there. So it's this friendship, man, that keeps people going. Who goes over? Who doesn't go over? Who cares? You're there. That's the whole thing. Last night, really beautiful kid, Matt Stryker, used to be on top with WWE for a long time. He was at the show, and I hadn't seen him for a while, and he said to me, first words, how are you doing? How are you since Nicolai's gone? It's like, man, nobody said that to me. People have passed condolences, but he said it, how are you doing? It's like, man, that was beautiful, So it's that kind of a thing where you care for each other. Somebody needs a ride, somebody needs a place to stay. You provide that stuff. I've had friends in this business that I've known 30 years. They're fans, okay? And then people in the wrestling business, it's like what they call blood brothers. We don't do the whole ritual or all that, but yeah, in the ring sometimes you get it, but you locked in, that's it. Ain't nobody gonna leave you behind. Kind of like the Marines, we don't leave nobody behind. Somebody has a tough spot in that ring, when they go behind that curtain, they're waiting. How did he or she make out? I'm not gonna go back until I make sure they're okay. That's legitimate. There's no cameras back there. Nobody's watching, see what happened. That's from here. And you can't buy that. There ain't enough money on earth that makes somebody care or love you. So when you have that, that's gold. You can get a copy of When It Was Real by Nikita Breznikov and Scott Teal, without a doubt. And it's able to be purchased at crowbarpress.com. CROWPRESS, one word.com. And Scott Teal has many other books there, and this is the master, Scott Teal. And again, passion. This man, hey look, he is a great guy. He does more than you ask him for. And you can go do whatever you need to do. You don't have to worry he's going to be in your drawers, he's going to take money, he's an honest guy. 100%. His wife Angela, hardworking, all beautiful people. And that's tough to find. In any aspect of life, you gotta be able to trust people. He helps authors like me. He doesn't sit there nickel and dime and he's counting the, no, he's there. Like he said, if you're not doing this for passion, then forget it. I don't want to be a part of it. I said, yes, I want to give back to the guys that were there for me. I want to tell that story. So yes, when it was real, crowbarpress.com.